Okay. In the end, we are only interested in finding out what happens with the quadratic polynomial. Using the discriminant, this will come in today's discussion only. Okay. Quadratic polynomial. We can also say quadratic expression. These two are the same things. The next thing is quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. Then there is something else which is called quadratic function. Today we are interested in the discussion of quadratic equations. Actually, we are already doing it. Quadratic equations. Now, Gia, I have a question. What is the difference between quadratic expression and quadratic equation?
An equation has an answer, an expression doesn't. Well, an expression is just going to have zero, I think.
Answer. What do you mean by answer?
It's like, um,
You mean solution?
yes.
Okay, I always get this answer. It's almost correct, but then if we say that quadratic, I mean, an equation has an answer and expression does not have, expressions can also have an answer. So if I write an expression, let's say 2x minus 4. This is right now, this is a linear expression. And if I put x is equal to 1, so I will get 2 times 1 minus 4, that is 2 minus 4, that is minus 2. So expression also have an answer. So that's not the difference between expressions and equations. The difference is
There's nothing on the other side though in an equation.
exactly. So the exact difference is, now this is the correct answer. Exact difference is when two expressions become equal, then you get an equation. So for instance, I'm taking one expression 2x minus 4. Can you tell me one more expression? Any expression.
8 plus 28, x plus 29.
8x plus 29. This is one expression, this is another expression. When I say that these two expressions are equal, now this is an equation. This complete thing is called equation. When two algebraic expressions become equal, then we get equation. Now on this right side, you can also have a 0, like 2x minus 4 equals 0. And do you know a 0 is also an expression? 0, a single number, is also called an algebraic equation. Did you know this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now that we are clear with the difference between expressions, let's start with quadratic equations. Let's say that this character quadratic equation turns out to be the villain of our story, okay? And we want to defeat him or it. We want to defeat it. And the only way to defeat it is by finding out its solutions. Solutions of a quadratic equation. This is the only way to defeat him. Okay, so Gia, there are 3 ways to find out the solution. First, we have done already by finding out square root. Finding out square root, that's the easiest case. Second, that we'll do today, it's called using discriminant. Third is factoring, using factoring. And out of these 3 ways, the second way will work in every situation. So basically, these 3 methods or these 3 ways can be used in specific situations. Like, for example, we use the first method when our quadratic equation looked like this. When we had a quadratic equation of this type, x squared equals a. This is the simplest form that you can get. Simplest form of a quadratic equation that you can get. Okay. In this case, we use the first method, that is using the square roots. But it's not always that we'll get a simple quadratic equation like this. Gia, do you know what is the general form of a quadratic equation?
It's ax squared plus bx plus c.
Awesome. So I am now starting. Second, using discriminant. So as you said, general form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. We're talking about equation, okay? So when we're talking about equation, then we write equals to 0, okay? All right. Now there is this term called discriminant. Have you heard of it before?
I haven't heard the word discriminant.
Discriminant, okay. Discriminant is nothing but an expression actually. So this expression is given by b squared minus 4 times ac. Okay, let me take an example now. Let's take a quadratic equation x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Okay. If we want to find out its discriminant, so first we need to find out what is a, what is b, what is c. So for that, we will compare it with the general form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So Gia, can you tell me the values of a, b, and c here?
A is 1, B is -5, and C is 6.
Awesome. A is 1, B is -5, and C is 6. Now your work is done. All you have to do is you just have to substitute these values in this expression. So we have b squared minus 4 times ac. So b squared means square of -5 minus 4 times a. A is 1 and c is 6. Square of -5 is going to be 25 minus, this will be 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 6 is 24. So we get 1. Now, what is the meaning of this 1? What can we conclude from this discriminant value? Any idea?
What x equals?
X. Okay, yeah, you're somewhat there. So this value will not give us the exact solution, but it will tell us the nature of the solutions. So Gia, if you remember, in the last class we did, quadratic equation can have 3 types of solutions. First, we did it can have 2 real solutions. Second, it can have 2 imaginary solutions. Third was it can have 1 real solution. Remember this?
Yeah.
Okay. Discriminant value actually tells us the nature of the solution. Okay, so I'm going to write here. If this discriminant is less than 0, if this value is less than 0, then we get 2 complex roots. Complex or imaginary roots, okay? When this discriminant value is positive, like in this case, we are getting a positive number. In this case, we will get 2 real solutions. One more thing is solution or root is the same thing. Okay, so sometimes you will see solution, sometimes you will see roots, they mean the same thing. Third case is when this value is equal to 0. In this case, we get only 1 real solution, which can be anything. It does not have to be equal to 0 in every case. It can be any other value as well. So Gia, in this case, we are getting this number 1 is actually positive, right?
Yes.
So in this case, we are going to get two real solutions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are actually going to find those solutions. Okay. Now I'm going to write a formula. It's called quadratic formula. And have you seen this formula before? Have you heard of it before, quadratic formula?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know what is it?
I remember the vertex one. I do not remember the quadratic one.
Okay, no problem. So do not get intimidated by looking at the formula. At first, it looks very scary, but yeah, I'm going to write it. So to find your values of x are given by x is equal to minus b plus and minus square root of b square minus 4ac.
Oh yeah, divided by 2a.
Yes,
Yeah, that
exactly.
one.
This is our quadratic formula. And by using this formula, we can actually find out the two solutions. Okay, so let's do this. In place of b, we'll just put -5. In place of a, we'll put 1. And in place of c, we'll put 6. And actually, if you see this b square minus 4ac, we have found out, right? We have found out the value of b square minus 4ac, that's 1. We don't need to find it again. Okay, negative b, that means negative of -25, I mean -5. So that would be +5. Negative of -5 will be +5 plus and minus square root of 1. In place of b square minus 4ac, I'm just writing 1.
No.
Divided by 2 times a. 2 times a. A is 1. Okay, so now we'll get two solutions. Okay. First solution we'll get when we take the plus sign. 5 plus square root of 1 is 1 divided by 2. Second solution we'll get when we take the minus sign. 5 minus 1 divided by 2. Okay. 2 times 1 is 2. Now 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 3 and 2 are the two solutions for this equation, for this quadratic equation.
Yes.
Okay. So you can also verify your answer. How will you verify your answer? That
You can plug it into the quadratic equation.
yes, you can plug them in the equation and you can see if they are satisfying the equation or not. Okay, great. So Gia,